Time now for tonight's big number. Conventional wisdom says the Democrats will lose ground in 2010 in the elections. The president's party generally does lose seats in Congress during the midterms. While that may well happen again this time, a new poll from Gallup just out has some good news for Democrats that may cushion the blow. When taking a look at party identification, how many states are considered right now to be solidly Democrat? 30 states out of the 50. Republicans, meanwhile, just have 4 states that are considered solidly Republican. Democrats have a significant ID edge, 30 states to 4 going into the next election. That's tonight's big number.
And with us now to talk about that and vampires, host of MSNBC's morning meeting, Dylan Radigan. Dylan, Larry Summers says that we've walked back from the precipice. Things are starting to turn around because of the stimulus package. Do you agree?
I do. I think that a lot of the things that we did in the fall at that point of crisis have reestablished a functioning market, have reestablished a functioning economy, albeit at a lower level. There's no question.
The first trading day in August, and investors extended July's big gains. And there are some signs of improvement in the auto industry. Let's go to Stephanie Elam in New York with the details on that. Hey, Steph.
Hi, Reggie. Yeah, stocks are coming off of the best July in 2 decades, and investors' optimism, well, it remained high on this first trading day in August. 2 economic readings boosted Wall Street's sentiments on the health of the U.S. economy. The closely watched manufacturing index rose last month. That beat analysts' expectations. And a report on construction spending that unexpectedly rose 0.3% in June. All of that factoring into our numbers today. Take a look at that. No red at all on that screen. The Dow up 114 points, 92.86. That's up about 1.25%, as you can see there. And NASDAQ topping the 2,000 level for the first time since last October. Right there, up 30 points at 2008. So that's better. It's a gain of about 1.5%. 2 notable movers there, Google and Apple. Google jumping more than 2%, Apple up close to 2% after Google CEO Eric Schmidt resigned from Apple's board. Also want to mention the S&P 500, also up about 1.5%. It tacked on, 15 points to 1,002. So it's crossed the 1,000 mark for the first time in 9 months. So we're just having all sorts of little milestones and markers around here, Reggie, that people like to see going in the right direction.
Yeah, that is certainly good news. And today we also heard some good news from the auto industry, which is bizarre because we haven't heard good news from the auto industry in a long time.
You probably doubted it the first time you read it. You're like, what? No, that can't be right. Good news coming from Detroit, but that is true. The Cash for Clunkers program lit a fire under car sales last week, and the automakers say things were starting to look better even earlier in the month, too. Ford was the only U.S. automaker that did not file for Chapter 11, and it's the first to post an increase in year-over-year sales. Ford's July sales rose 2% from last year. Chrysler posted a drop of 9%, while General Motors sales, well, they fell 19% from last year. But both noted that sales improved significantly from the month before. Toyota.
Signs the recession may soon be over. A report out today shows the pace of economic decline has slowed dramatically. The GDP, or gross domestic product, shrank just 1% in the second quarter versus a whopping 6.4% from January to March. President Obama commented on the good news this afternoon.
This morning, the GDP revealed that the recession we faced when I took office was even deeper than anyone thought at the time. It told us how close we were to the edge. But the GDP also revealed that in the last few months, the economy has done measurably better than we had thought, better than expected.
Cautious, but optimistic nevertheless. While the free fall appears to be over, unemployment continues to rise, and consumers, well, they are simply not spending. The pain may be easing, but really, are we on the road to an actual recovery? Will it feel like a recovery? Ali Velshi joins us with details on your money, your future. So the GDP has done better than they thought. Does this mean it's behind us?
No, look, it's an interesting measure. It's old, as you mentioned. It's from the second quarter of this year, March until the end of June. But let me give you a pattern. Let me show you the last 2 years of GDP, which is the broadest measure of all economic activity in this country. I'm going to show you right now, first of all, before I do that, this is what the Dow has done, another indicator of what's going on. Let's go back to Election Day, November of 08. Look at where we were. We were just above 9,000. Look where we've gone. Back to March 09. You remember, Anderson, we were talking about that being the bottom of the market. Now now look at what's happened. We've traced this market back up, and we are today where we were back on election day. So that's one of the indications that this market is doing a lot better. GDP is another of these indications. We're still shrinking this economy, Anderson, but we're shrinking it a lot less than we were before.
Let's talk about this cash for clunkers program. $2 billion, another $2 billion was approved today to keep this thing going. It's been a kind of a surprising hit, right?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I have some penance to do. I was one of the doubters. This didn't seem like it made a whole lot of sense. This was a program that was putting $1 billion aside to give to people. You had until November to do this, to trade in your old clunker to buy a new car. They ran out of money in the first week. Today, before Congress left, they authorized another $2 billion to add to the first $1 billion so that people can continue to do this. 40,000 people have taken advantage of it already. Dealers say another 200,000 people are ready to do this, Anderson. This low-hanging fruit of a program that none of us thought was going to work might end up being one of the most successful enterprises in an effort to stimulate the economy. Ford is saying it's expected to do one of its best months in a very long time because of this.
And how